The Dead Space remake integrates lore from the entire series into this fresh look at the original game. The first file you can find sets up Isaac as a character, providing backstory and explaining his ambivalence towards Unitology. You can find an audio recording of Nicole involving dialogue that was originally only available in Dead Space 2. You can even learn more about the Church in general than you could in the original game. However, even with all this additional context, one of the greatest mysteries of the Dead Space universe persists. What in Altman's name is Peng? The Peng treasure has been present in every game in the Dead Space series. It depicts a slim woman and is kind of reminiscent of an Oscar. It seems each version of the treasure is worth a different amount of credits depending on the game you're playing, but one thing is for sure. If it's Dead Space, there's always Peng. The problem here is that while Peng is always depicted in this way as a sellable item to help you with a chunk of credits, the advertising around the game leads us to believe that's not what Peng is. The Peng treasure is more like a commemorative collectible, and when you think of it that way, it makes sense that you make so much money when selling one. I have a number of game statues myself, and they are pricey. In fact, in the Dead Space remake, in place of where the treasure was originally, is a text log of a crazed fan who got his hands on the statue, and he says he doesn't care how much it costs, he got it, and that no ad could ever do it justice, making it sound like the treasure itself is what's being advertised. So one possibility is that Peng is the treasure itself, but the history of Peng implies this isn't the case. Now, let's talk about the various theories behind the meaning of Peng. The word Peng is actually British slang, meaning very appealing, attractive, or impressive. We can see this in most of the Peng advertising, which is focused on beautiful women, often looking like old-time pinups. But even when Peng ads aren't showing off the ladies, they're often aesthetically elegant and exude an aura of wealth. These ads make it seem as though Peng is a lifestyle brand, a catch-all for selling products across the galaxy. And this theory is actually pretty strong. The various ads never tell you outright what Peng is, and the slogans of "I want more Peng" or "I love my Peng" could allude to any number of products. If we take Peng as a more ambiguous name for multiple products all falling under one brand, it makes perfect sense that we don't have a straight answer, and that this brand would have expensive collectibles like the Peng treasure. Another interesting meaning behind Peng could be tied to what the term means in Canada. Should you prove your knowledge and earn the classification of professional engineer, the designation for those with this high level of engineering knowledge is P.ENG, or Peng. This aligns with the professional designation of our favorite psychotic everyman, Isaac Clarke. Knowing this, it's possible Peng is just a clever nod to the main protagonist of the series. Maybe there's always Peng because without Isaac, there's no game in the first place. This theory is fun, but can easily fall apart if you think too much about it, as not all the various advertising slogans would make sense given the context. Also, why would these primarily feature women if this were the case? Except Isaac is looking for and then haunted by Nicole. So maybe the women are a reflection of Isaac's subconscious, constantly reaching out to his dead girlfriend? I don't know, that might be too heady for Peng. Another possible explanation for Peng paints it as being a bit more sexual in nature than you'd expect to see in the Dead Space series. There's scrawlings on a bathroom stall where someone's written, "I give good Peng," and designates Mondays and Wednesdays as when you can find them. So Peng could still be a brand, but maybe one that errs on the side of the scandalous. The majority of Peng advertising does feature women, sometimes in suggestive poses, so the overt sexual themes behind Peng are right there on display. The treasure itself is always female, and is often associated with men who are hiding it away for themselves. Not sure how to say this to prevent being demonetized, but here I go. It's entirely possible that Peng may be a form of in-universe prawns. Yeah, they can't demonetize me for saying prawns, right? Okay, moving on. At this point, you may think that you're getting a handle on what Peng is, right? It's a high-end lifestyle brand that sells a wide variety of products that may border on the sexual, including commemorative statues worth thousands of credits, but also could be a fun call-out to the chosen career of our necromorph carving protagonist. Simple. But here's the thing. There's never been an in-game confirmation of any of these theories. There are breadcrumbs to follow, but nothing at the end of the path. And given that the item description of the Peng treasure in every game is "There's always Peng," we can't say with any certainty that any of these theories are correct. Unfortunately, it seems that the mystery of Peng cannot be solved, and it will always be up to the individual player's interpretation when it comes to who or what Peng could truly be. Is what I would say if we didn't have definitive confirmation of what Peng is in the art of Dead Space. The following excerpt is found within the pages of this art book. A constant yet ambiguous presence in Dead Space, no one is quite sure what Peng is, despite it being prominently advertised in all 3 games. A soft drink, a drug, or something more sinister, there's unlikely to be a definitive answer. But for a team immersed in a dark work of mutilation and horror, it has become a welcome sight of light relief. I tried to find areas of light and emphasize them, explains Ian Milham, the art director of Dead Space. Peng is one of them, where we've got this running joke. There's a slightly ironic tone to a lot of the advertising in the world. It's an attempt to allow the audience and myself to take a break. So that's it. Peng is a joke. There's no deeper meaning. It's just the art team riffing on advertising and trying to inject some levity in the crushingly dark and terrifying world they've created. Peng is everything and Peng is nothing. It can be advertising literally whatever you want it to be because its only purpose is to act as a brief reprieve from cutting up monsters. So whether you're feeling run down from fixing up the Ishimura's engines, thirsty from one too many Z-Ball sessions, or simply trying to relax after the ship's captain transforms into an abomination of cosmic horror on top of you, remember, there's always Peng. So what did you all think of this lighter tone to our lore videos? Is this something you'd like to see more of? Should we keep looking into Dead Space lore? Are there any other video game mysteries that you just haven't been able to solve that are probably just large series-wide jokes that the developers are playing on us? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for listening in, and Square Table Gaming will be back with more lore.